Hey Country Club, it's Billy. Maintenance Monday. Let's go check and see what's going on out on the golf course. All right, Maintenance Monday. We're back at it. Course is open 7 days a week now. So what we're doing is lightly verticutting on the greens. Okay, so you kind of see the lines a little bit. We're digging into them just a little bit to stand that grass up so that we can mow down through it. As we lower these heights of cut, we need to chew through all that grain and be able to take some of those fatter leaf blades off. Like you can really see the line right there. So light verticutting followed by a slight lowering of the putting. Slight lowering of the height of cut. So we'll just continue to work the putting surface, working that grain, working the height of cut, lowering them down, just so we continue to smooth out that plant. We need to get through this little bit of puffiness. You can see a little bit here on the perimeter of the green. That's to be expected as we continue to work towards playability. Continue to edge them on down just a little bit. But we gotta thin them out first. So one of the things you'll notice when we verticut, we're always going down and back in the same pass. And that is to constantly work on that grain, because you'll get quite a bit of grass going one direction. And then when you turn around and you come back the other way, you might not get anything. Or it might be vice versa, where you get nothing at first, and then you come back and you get a whole lot. So in order to treat the greens uniformly, like Gene will go right back down the same pass here. Working in that grain. Like he didn't get a whole lot going that direction because he got majority of it going the other way. We're also fly mowing all the bunkers while we're doing this. Maintenance closure. And then the guys are going around behind the verticutting. We're lightly top dressing the greens. We're putting a little bit of water soluble nutrient on the greens, and then we're watering it all in. So a lot going on right now. These maintenance closures are really critical for us to be able to keep prepping this golf course heading towards fantastic playability. This little bit of closure that we get is really critical. Give us a little bit of time, because in the morning we don't have a staff to be able to send out another 8 guys to go verticut and top dress and fertilize and mow all the grass and change cups and rake the bunkers and blow all the leaves and everything else just to get it ready for play. So having these little maintenance closures are really, really critical to allow us a little bit of extra time, especially when it's dry. Trying to verticut and clean up and do all that kind of stuff when it's wet just requires even more people to clean up afterwards. So getting this little maintenance closure while it's dry really helps us a lot. I don't know if you can kind of see this little patch right here. The grain's running in an alternate direction. And so working it only one direction, you wouldn't be able to really dig into it and control it. So up and back in the same pass allows us to do that. One of the other things you'll notice too is they're gonna start the verticutting in the collar. because one of the biggest stress areas on a green is the perimeter. And what really stresses the plant out, it's not mowing this straight line, it's when you get to the curve and you start turning. Like, remember in the summertime, we purposefully will go out and circle cut on the fairways and the tees and all that kind of stuff, because we want to try and push those reels down into the grass and really chew into it. We do not want to do that on the greens. And we're verticutting today essentially the depth of 2 sheets of paper. Super, super light. But what's critical is we still maintain the playability on the edges here. And I didn't want to lift the verticutters up when they get to the edge. I want to treat all the putting surfaces as if it's the same as the middle, so that they all get the same level of care, the same level of playability. So you'll see again, he'll start here in the collar and proceed on. That's so that we, instead of lifting up right here, and then in order to verticut it, we have to come back and do the perimeter cut, just go right through and lift into the collar. And you can see just how little disturbance it's putting into the collars, because we're going so light on the verticutting. Another thing about the verticutting process is we're constantly changing the directions that we do it. So we refer to it like a clock positions. So this one's called 10 to 4. So they're kind of going from top left to bottom right. If they just go side to side, that's 3 to 9, and straight up and down is 6 to 12, and then top right to bottom left, that's 8 to 2. So attacking that grain from different directions all the time is really critical as well. So 3 weeks ago, we verticut 8 to 2. Last week, we verticut 6 to 12. This week, we're verticutting 10 to 4. Next week, we'll verticut 3 to 9. Just constantly working it, attacking that grain, attacking those leaves from a different direction, so we get the proper orientation. Try and get those leaves to stand straight up. And since we're lightly verticutting, we're gonna go with a real light application of sand as well. Helps smooth them out, helps keep leveling that putting surface. Also helps dilute the organic material that builds up on the putting surface. I'm out on hole number 9, and this is Todd Lowe. He is our consulting agronomist. And what we're doing is pulling core samples out of the greens. And so Todd, why are we pulling these samples, and what's the benefit of it?
Well, these core samples actually tell us a lot. This particular core sample will help tell us infiltration rate, but this whole testing, which I call root zone performance metrics, we take infiltration, but we also take organic matter dilution or percent, as well as particle size distribution, or how our sand top dressing changes over time, and if that has any impact on soil physical properties. The reason why we do it is multifaceted. Obviously, you want to know how well your programs are performing. Are you staying on top of organic matter deposition, if you will? But then ultimately, having that track record of soil physical properties in your greens allows you to make an educated decision on when it's time to renovate in the future.
Oh, so we're going to be able to empirically tell how our maintenance practices over the years have affected the green's performance?
Yes, and prior to sampling procedures like this, it was a gut instinct. It was a general, well, we just generally renovate every 10 to 15 years here in Florida. But using metrics, using numbers, we can really pinpoint and see, do you need to? It's funny, some of the mature courses here in Naples, we're getting really good numbers, and because good programs were put in place from year one and continued, and in those cases we're finding that they can actually last longer than what I would have said as a USGA agronomist before that, as to when they would have needed to renovate. But now we've got numbers that we can back it up.
How often do you do these core samples?
So we do a spring and fall. Reason being is in the spring, before you do your first cultivation of the summer, your aerification, verticutting, sand top dressing, and then I come back in the fall. So after you've completed everything. So what that does, it actually gives you a number that you can look at in both your organic matter composition and your infiltration. In the spring, organic matter will be higher because these greens grow throughout the winter months, and infiltration will get less over that time. But that's why we do what we do in the summer. So they're also just good numbers, because look, no golfer likes to do what we have to do in summer, but sometimes when you can show a membership, we do it, and here's the facts behind it. Here's the numbers behind why we do what we do.
Oh, awesome. So over the years, how have the aerification programs potentially changed? Like, I've been growing grass for almost 30 years, and it used to be aerify as much as possible with 6-inch holes and just try and beat them to death. Is that still the mentality of what the numbers are showing you?
Well, and I'm not gonna lie, our industry, we still do things because that's the way we've always done it. But that's the wonderful thing about metrics. It really lets you be in the driver's seat to know, am I doing a good enough job with maybe 2 aerifications, especially on newer greens, and less aggressive verticutting and sand top dressing. So there's a million ways to skin any given cat, and I know you can appreciate the fact that I visit a lot of golf courses, and you see a lot of programs, but when you're able to put metrics behind it, you can really fine-tune exactly where you want to be.
Awesome. And how long have you been here?
Well, gosh, I've been here for a long time. I was a USGA agronomist from 2000 to 2018, then worked for Bayer for a short time. But in that time of being that USGA agronomist, I should say, how long have you been here, Billy? Because you and I have quite the relationship here.
I'm getting ready to, I think, start my 19th or 20th year here. And you've been part of it all the way. So Todd was consulting with us when we were developing our specs for the golf course, and he was here all through the renovation and construction, and we've been doing all this testing ever since the golf course was built, and we've been playing on it so that we can continue to dial in our maintenance practices. And I can tell you, through Todd's involvement, our aerification programs have changed based upon the numbers that he gets from diagnosing those cores. So that's Todd Lowe, Turf Flow Consulting. He's been part of our process ever since. Just want to give you guys a quick introduction.